Hello there, fellow gamers. Keith with Keith'sArcade.com here. And I am back from yesterday. We had the 2019 Missouri Game Conference in St. Louis. This is the first gaming conference I think I've ever been to, and I was on there on a personal invite from one of the founders. He wanted me to bring a couple of arcade games, and I did. So I was able to get some early VIP access. Met a lot of cool vendors, met some friends, met some famous gaming YouTube celebrities. Went to a couple panels, made a fool out of myself in one of them. We'll get to that in a little bit. And picked up a bunch of stuff. I spent about $250 or so, but I got a lot of cool stuff, and we'll show you that right now. And I'll tell you my experience with the 2019 Mo GameCon. Okay, so we'll start with pickups, and this is pretty much everything I had picked up. Plus, I've got my NES and my Game Boy up there that I got a couple autographs on. We'll get to that in a minute. Probably the coolest thing I picked up there was this complete Rob Gyromite set with Rob the Robot. He even has his little visor on there. It's pretty neat. I already had Rob, but I only had the robot. I didn't have the visor, I didn't have the hands, I didn't have any of the accessories. Um, and this one was complete, and it was a very good price, so I couldn't pass it up. We even got the gyros with the caution labels. It's pretty neat. So I got this zipper controller. I This is the story that I have to share with you later on. This is what made a fool out of me at one of the panels that I went to. And I originally paid $10 for this, but then we found out at one of the panels that it was actually broken. So I went back to the vendor, and he gave me my money back and told me to keep it. So maybe we'll take this apart one day and fix it. I have the blue one. This is the red one. So even if it doesn't work, and even if I can't fix it, it's still kind of neat to have my VIP pass sitting there. Probably the next coolest thing that I can think of picking up is I picked up some classic Nintendo Power magazines. Um, just show you what I got here. Got volume 27, which features the first Game Boy Mega Man game. Looks like volume 28, Super Mario World. Volume, was that 39, Mario Paint. Volume 41, Super Mario Kart. Volume 52, Super Mario All-Stars. This is volume 56, the Mega Man X, the bonus issue. This is volume, 66? DKC on that one. And volume 75 with the Virtual Boy. I also got a Nintendo Power Index for volumes 1 through 70. Maybe I'll get the rest of them someday. I just picked up kind of what I thought were the cool ones there. And, these were free at the entrance, the Old School Gamer magazine. I haven't opened it up yet. I'll check it out. Got a couple of posters here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on video. But these were 2 for $10, so I couldn't pass them up. Super Metroid. Metroid is my favorite franchise in the Nintendo series, and Super Metroid's probably, my favorite console game of all time. So I thought this was a pretty cool poster. I picked that up. And I picked up this Mike Tyson's Punch-Out poster. These are 12 by 20, I believe, so I'm going to have to get some frames for them. So let me put these back over here. 1 minute. Okay. So before I go over games and boxes, I just figured I'd go over some of the accessories. We've already talked about Rob, and we've talked about the zipper. This was, I think, in a dollar bin. An Xbox 360 camera I didn't have. These were all like $1 or $2. I can't remember. I didn't spend a lot on these. I've never seen one of these before. A officially licensed flight stick for the Sega Genesis. I got a bunch of Genesis Turbo controllers. I believe this is a third-party one. There's no brand on it. A Champ looks like 3-button turbo controller for the Genesis. And an official Genesis 6-button controller with turbo and slow motion. I don't believe I have any of these in my collection, and these were pretty cheap, so I went ahead and picked them up. More dollar bin stuff. I got a case for the Game Boy Advance SP. I got what I believe is kind of a grip accessory thing with a magnifying lens, also for the Advance SP. Which, you know, I picked it up because it was $1. It's like, oh, that's cool. I can maybe hold my Game Boy Advance SP more comfortably with that. Mine happens to be the NES edition, which is the same gray color, so that'll work. A 3DS game case. Yeah, that right there. I left the sticker on it. That was in the $1 bin. I believe this was in a $1 bin too, an old RF TV game switch box. I never really used these, but when I get old consoles that originally used these, I like to have these with it, so that'll be nice to have in the collection. And a LCD Slapshot ice hockey game. So that's not all of the $1 bin stuff, but that's all the accessories in the $1 bin stuff. Everything else I got to show you is basically games and or boxes. So up here, get these Atari boxes down. Most of these games I already have, but these are boxes I didn't have, and they were cheap enough. So I think all of these were about maybe $3 a piece, we'll say. Armor Ambush. Telegames Baseball. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the same as Home Run. Bowling. Freeway. Box is a little beat up, but Indy 500. Space Attack. And Video Pinball. Winter Games. I believe this is the PAL version. It has the PAL cartridge in it. But with the box, and it was cheap. And Word Zapper. I don't think I have this one at all, so this will be a nice addition to the collection. Also found 2 loose carts I didn't have. Airlock. Pretty cool. And Task Force, one of the Froggo games. I think I've got pretty much all the Froggo games now. I'm not sure. Okay, sorry about that. Got some Intellivision games. Well, most of these I have, but I don't have the boxes. Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I believe I got that from Norm. I'll get to that in a minute. Buzz Bombers. I don't think I had this one at all, so that'll be a nice addition. Frog Bog. NBA Basketball. Pinball. I don't think I had this at all either. And Triple Action. And I found some loose ColecoVision games I didn't already have. I got Frontline. I got, this is Miner 2049er. Pepper 2. Space Panic. And Subrock. And my phone is screaming at me, so we'll have to take a break, charge the phone, and I'll be right back to show you the rest of it and share my stories. Okay, my apologies for that. My iPhone battery is just shot these days. I need to get a new phone. And my good camera is still packed away, so what are you going to do? So anyway, we're back in business now. We left off with the ColecoVision stuff, so now we're moving on to Master System and Game Gear. I'm not sure if I've got any of these or not. I don't think I do, so I went ahead and picked them up. They were pretty cheap. I got Global Defense. I've got Marksman Shooting and Trap Shooting, which I believe uses the light gun. And the Ninja. I've never heard of this one. Obviously, I've heard of Shinobi, so I don't know how familiar it is, but looking at the graphics on the box, it doesn't look anything like Shinobi, so I have no clue. Ooh, some more stuff from Norman's booth. So I got this. I don't have a disc system and I don't have any discs, but I grabbed this. I thought it was really cool. Oh, Konami 1987. I didn't even notice that till now. There's a side B and a side A. There's what it says. Temple Labyrinth Dababa? I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, this was in Norm's dollar bin, so I was like, oh, cool. You know, I don't have a Famicom or any disc system games. Well, I take that back. I have a Famicom. I don't have a disc system for it, and I don't know if my Famicom even works. There was a disc system at the con that was about $100. I decided to pass on for now. I'd already spent a lot of money, and I don't know if that's a good deal or not. I have to research it. Maybe we'll get a disc system one of these days. And like I said, I don't even know if my Famicom even works. But these are $5 a piece. Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. I didn't have either of those in the Famicom. I don't have a lot of Famicom games, just a handful. But those are pretty cool to add to the collection. I got some Game Boy stuff. Most of these are just boxes I've already got the games for, but the boxes were pretty cheap and in nice shape. So I got Alleyway. I got Donkey Kong. I got Motocross Maniacs. And I got a box for F1 Race with the 4-player adapter, which I've got the 4-player adapter. I've got F1 Race. Now I've got the box to put them in, so that would be pretty nice. Also, I think this was a dollar bin find. Game Boy official cleaning kit. Again, something else that I'll never use, but for $1 I'll add it to the collection. This I think was a pretty good deal. I got a cheap Game Genie for the Game Boy with the book attached. I didn't have a Game Genie for the Game Boy, I don't believe, so that'll be cool. Another game I got from Norman, Final Fantasy II. I had 3, and obviously I've got 1 on the NES. I didn't have 2, so he had that price pretty reasonable, so went ahead and picked that up. And as big of a Metroid fan as I am, I actually don't own Metroid Prime. Well, I do now. It didn't have a booklet with it, but it was priced right. And another Metroid Prime game for the DS, if it'll focus. I can't even read what it is. Prime Hunter's First Hunt. So, oh, there it is, $3. I paid $3 for that game. I think this one was $7. So $10 for 2 Metroid Prime games that I didn't have. So, yeah, I know it's a very common game, but I play the 2D Metroid games, you know. That's my thing, so that's pretty much all of the pickups. Now, as I mentioned, I did get to meet a couple of famous YouTube celebrities. There were quite a few of them there, but the 2 I was most interested in. Obviously, first, as I mentioned before, Norm. Norman Caruso, otherwise known as the Gaming Historian, was there. I bought a bunch of stuff from his booth, and I had him sign my Game Boy here, because I know the Game Boy is his favorite system, so brought that and had him sign it for me. Thank you, Norman. The other famous YouTube celebrity that was appealed to me was Pat the NES Punk. He was there. I had him sign my original NES. Thank you, Pat. I went to both of their conferences, and the first one was with Pat, and that's the one I made my fool out of myself out of, and it involved this damn zipper controller. Let me explain. So he was doing his conference and everything, and toward the end of the conference, they usually like to conference panel. I meant to say. Toward the end of his panel, he had a couple of people come up to play games. Well, whoever had the Nintendo set up there had one controller there and a zapper with a flat panel. What do you call it? Flat panel TV, which you can't use a zapper on a flat panel TV. It's pretty funny, anyways. So he wanted to play a two-player game, he had two people come up that play a two-player game. I can't remember. I think it was Dr. Mario or something. And they came up with, he only had one controller, so he was asking the crowd for another controller. Well, I had purchased this controller at the con before I went to his panel, so I was like, "Hey, Pat, I got a controller you can use and everything." He goes and plugs this in. It shuts the system off. So he tried turning the system off and back on, and he tried switching it to the first controller port, second controller port, whatever. The system would not power on with this controller attached. So it's like, and I believe somebody was filming this conference too. So I might even be on YouTube in someone else's video making a jackass out of myself. But anyways. Long story short, it was just kind of an embarrassing moment, but whatever, it is what it is. After that, I went back to the vendor and I'm like, "Hey man, I hate to be a pest, but I was at Pat Contry's panel, and we tried this controller out during his panel, and it shut the system off." So he ended up being really cool about it. He gave me my money back, and he told me to keep it. So maybe I'll take it apart one day and fix it and sync it up with my blue one. But anyways, I thought that was a pretty funny story. And of course, I went to the gaming historians panel, Norman Caruso, since he was there as well. And like I mentioned, a lot of my stuff, not a lot of it, but probably I think I spent about $40 at his booth. So anyway, that's my story with that. I've ran into a few friends there, mainly Matt and Mike from Matty Mo's Arcade. Zach was there. He's the guy who recently bought that pole position barn find that I had. So quite a few other people. I'm sorry I can't remember you all, but I had a really fun time. Met a lot of cool vendors, bought a lot of cool stuff, as you can see. Looking forward to next year. I'm definitely going to do this again. So, just wanted to show you everything I got and share my stories about the Missouri Game Con. So, there you guys have it. That's everything I picked up at the Game Con and all the stories I had to share with you. Sorry I don't really have time to properly edit this video, but I'll put it up anyways. I'll try to put a picture up. I got a picture with Norm and Pat. I'll try to put it up at the end of the video if my iPhone will let me do that. So, anyways, just wanted to touch base with you all and let you know how things are going. The MK2 is done. I know I got a couple of people asking me to put up a video of it. I'm not sure why, because there's plenty of them out there, but I guess people just really want to know how it turned out. I will try to shoot a video of it. However, I do believe I have it sold. It's probably going to be leaving the house sometime this week. But if I have time, I will shoot a video of it before it heads out. So, and of course, other videos will come as I get the game room all sorted out and get the arcade rearranged and everything else. So some pretty excited changes coming here. So until next time, this is KeepWithEastArcade.com signing off. Take care, guys.